Welcome back. Next, we have Birch Co. It trades on the OTC Pink sheets under the symbol ATWT and is at the forefront of the home construction industry, revolutionizing home construction with cutting-edge technology and affordable solutions. Please welcome its CEO, Josh Ploch. Nice to see you today, Josh. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
All right, the floor is yours.
Perfect. So welcome, everyone. Excited to be here. Thank you for your time today. We are ATWT trading, like they said, ATWT, and originally a technology company on the path of diversification. And so you may hear both of these terms, but excited to talk about the Birch Co, which is one of the main focuses today. And we'll take some questions at the end if anyone has any. So starting with the forward-looking statements, as always, we will talk about some things that may be under the planning stage or non-binding stage. So these are subject to change as things go forward. So what the Birch Co does, we are a leading innovator in the construction industry, and our focus is high-quality, high-end custom homes, primarily focusing in the Sun Belt region. So what we focus on, and I'll talk more about a lot of the details around this as we move forward here, but we focus on an asset class of homes that sits slightly above affordable housing, and we'll talk about what some of the competitive landscape looks like. But we feel there's a great, very large opening sitting right above that affordable home space that really is available and popular and impacts a lot of the different demographic groups that are looking for housing right now. So as many people know, if you're familiar with the real estate industry, the Sun Belt is a very popular place to be building. We're seeing a lot of the growth in the country, population growth focuses in this Sun Belt region. And if you've paid any attention again to the real estate industry, you will have definitely heard the need for affordable housing, the popularity of sustainable homes. Certainly as we're through this current election cycle here in the US, both candidates bring this up a lot. So if you pay any attention to that, really on both sides of the aisle, it's a very popular talking point, something that everyone agrees is a huge need as we move forward. So, we really feel that depending on the market conditions, depending on what the political climate does, that we're in a space that's very safe and has a lot of growth opportunity for the future. So what is the market opportunity here? Like I mentioned, you see on the bottom chart the percentage change in population. This for a long time has been focused in this Sun Belt region. This is a very well-known stat, so certainly not sharing anything that people are not familiar with. But the demographics are moving in this direction. And as you'll see, the residential new construction continues to be on an upward path. And certainly when we see the interest rate change that we saw this past week and forecasting to see a number of cuts both next year and moving forward, that we expect that growth to continue to be strong, again, especially in these market segment areas. So why are we focused on these groups of consumers? So first off, we have a sustainability focus, very important to us. We feel that it's both a market driver and that it's also something that we need to do as a company, just as our focus to make the world a better place, to make the communities that we're participating in better. And it's always been a focus, both personally and professionally, for my partner Angus and I, so that we can improve the communities that we live in, that we work in, that we work around. We've always had this community-centered approach. I'll talk a little bit later about some of the things that we've been fortunate enough to partner on that we're very excited about. And as we mentioned, the affordable housing demand is always going to be there. These houses also are a great product for build to rent. So from an investor standpoint, an institutional standpoint, this product is an excellent long-term product for institutional investors as well. Some of the home types and pricing that we have, we focus our residential developments in that $200,000 to $500,000 per property. Our affordable housing and build to rent are going to be closer to that bottom side and that $200,000 to $300,000 per property. And just to really drill down a little bit on the types of customer bases that we can reach with these, I mentioned already the institutional investor. As many of you know, we have some very large institutional investors buying up lots and lots of homes around the U.S., and really the world. And whether you agree with that or not, it's a very popular push in the market. And these types of homes are the types of homes for that type of buyer where the price and the value will continue to stay strong. And they can also get into these products at a certain price point that makes it worth their while, that they can continue to underwrite these in a positive way, and it makes good long-term sense. In addition to that, this price point is very popular, and this size of home is very popular for the aging demographic of baby boomers. As kids are leaving the home, going off to college, getting married, you will see a lot of these, older adults and baby boomers downsizing into what they want as well thought out, well designed, thoughtfully designed type of home that's smaller than what they needed for their family. So we always focus as we're building these into creating those amenities that's important to that group, but can also be flexible. And then on the other side, obviously the affordable housing studies are always big. They tend to focus on more socioeconomic factors, financial factors. But what we will also see as we aggregate the demographic data is that younger folks are sometimes delaying getting married, starting a family. Same thing with young married couples are sometimes delaying starting a family. So all of these financial indicators, demographic indicators point to continued strong growth in this house type, in this market type, in these types of homes moving forward. It just it works for a number of people, number of different customers. Part of what makes us special and profitable and marketable is that we vertically integrate a lot of what we do. And I'll also come back to this a little bit, but along with new construction, we also do renovations where we're able to include some of these technology pieces, include some of these sustainability pieces. We do outdoor living and water features. We focus on these both in the community and in individual homes. We have a lot of our design and architecture in-house. So again, we're able to vertically integrate that, both to save time, to save money, to create efficiencies in those areas. And we also do the same thing in commercial construction. Traditionally, about 20 to 30% of our revenue comes from the commercial side, where again, we're able to just continue to use some of these technology advancements and sustainability in our commercial construction side. On the new construction, just to talk about that a little bit more, like I had mentioned, we have our design and architecture in-house. So we're able to use that to really focus on bringing some of these savings and being able to add more amenities, to add more features, to add more design elements, but at the same time, keep those prices down. Like I mentioned, there's a very large market, which I'm going to hit here in a slide or two, in the affordable housing, but a lot of times those sometimes can lack some of the amenities that the types of buyers that we work with are looking for. So our marketing, you'll see if you follow our marketing and promotion, a strong social media presence. again, this is not just a business plan for us. It's something that's very important to us personally, that we very much enjoy. So we are continuing to make sure that we are keeping ourselves on the cutting edge of some of these practices. And, honestly, we just like to talk about them. So you'll see, a lot of focus on our social media, on our strategy side, focused on these things that we're doing. Same thing on the thought leadership side. We like to talk to everyone else about them. These are things that we feel can change the industry, can make the industry better. And we are in an industry that really has not had a lot of technological innovation in a really long time. Many of the houses today are built the same way they were, in the 80s and the 90s, sometimes back to the 50s. So there's areas of our industry that's just not seen that type of innovation in a really long time. We're obviously not the only ones that are pushing this area, but again, it's something that we continue to just make sure that we are part of this conversation and that we are doing what we can to be able to bring all of those features that make sense to our customers. Strategic partnerships, like I had mentioned earlier, these are very important to us, being a valuable member of our community. One project that we're very proud of here in the Tulsa area is we are building a grocery box, which is basically a miniature, almost shipping container size grocery store in what is otherwise a food desert. So we are able to use, again, some of our design capability, some of our building capability, some of the innovation that we look for, and we're able to use that and partner with somebody who's doing, incredible good in the community. And by working together with those nonprofit community members, we're able to help put a grocery store in a food desert where there was not affordable groceries, there was not fresh produce, there was not those types of food types as readily as available as there will be when we're done this project. Working on another project that is a co-working space that we'll be able to release some information on soon that we're very proud of. So whenever we can, it's important to us to make a positive impact in the community where we live, where we work, and certainly leave it better than when we found it. Our growth strategy, we want to establish this strong presence in the residential development area by, again, building communities where people want to live, where people enjoy living, and the houses are, sustainable for the long term. We grow by purchasing other general contracting firms through the Sun Belt, and then adding the affordable housing and build to rent sector as a revenue stream to those GC firms. And then, as I mentioned before, we continue to grow and have operational efficiency just by vertical integration and by using, the scale that we achieve as we grow to be able to keep our costs down, to be able to do things like bulk purchasing. It just helps us, as we continue to grow, it helps us add amenities, that we don't just cut that from the bottom line. We're able to use that to make a better product, and that's where our focus is. Our executive management team, just to highlight us, my name is Josh. So my background, long time in real estate, over 10 years. Also have experience in HR and operations. My partner, Angus, again, brings a number of different entrepreneurship experience. Also grows one of the largest sustainable farms in Oklahoma, and very proud of that. So that's just, again, another crossover of some information that as we're building these communities, it's our book of experience that we're able to, come at these problems with a high level of knowledge that maybe some other people do not have. Our general counsel, Kevin Cox, he, again, has a lot of experience in M&A and across a couple different industries and a couple different companies. So our select comps, when we look at where we sit in the market, and I've mentioned this a couple times, but if you look at some of these names, which are very familiar, Lennar, D.R. Horton, there's a few other ones, just Lennar and D.R. Horton, 35 billion plus revenue in 2024. Obviously, there is a very, very large market for affordable housing. That is well proven. And again, there are 3 or 4 other companies. It's not a huge space as far as number of companies that are in it, but it's a very, very big space. But like I mentioned, we feel that there is a underserved gap between what is considered a truly affordable home, and many of these are focused on just keeping the cost down as much as they can. Obviously, huge market for that. But there's a very large gap between that and what would be considered your luxury or getting into your custom homes. So from our scalability standpoint, our focus is really landing right in the middle. So to sit right above that affordable housing space and focusing on, like I've mentioned, getting a lot of additional amenities, getting a lot of additional features, spending that additional money on some of the things that the affordable space cannot traditionally provide. And again, that's done well for us so far. And we see a tremendous amount of growth in that market segment moving forward. So that's really our target. Revenue, obviously, we're a little bit short of Lennar and D.R. Horton, but our focus on sustainable practices is certainly something that we're not seeing out of the competitors in this space. Vibrant communities, again, when you're in the affordable home space, there is a focus on communities, but we're just able to add a little bit more just because of our price point target and because of our focus not being just providing the lowest costs. The focus on acquisitions, and then that space in affordable and build to rent. Just some of the highlights for us. We do specialize in the residential development, but we also have a heavy focus on commercial. Like I mentioned, we're following the demographic changes and the demographic, wave into the Sun Belt a little bit. Like I mentioned before, our product is just a great product and a great fit for a number of different parts of the market. And we are really designing next generation residential developments that are, places that people really want to live. They're well thought out. We really feel that they are going to be models for the communities for the future. Our full offering so that we can do renovation, we can do outdoor living, we can do architecture, we can do commercial products. We have a number of different revenue streams inside of our offering. And then we have our gross revenue target that we're going to continue to grow. Like I mentioned, we're going to see that market segment continue to grow, see our growth continue to be on an upward trend. So that is the end of the presentation. We do, I believe, have a couple questions.
Yes. Hi, Josh. You do. You want to jump into the Q&A?
Sure. Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. Well, I love that you're in Tulsa. That's a great place to be.
Thank you.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit. John also wants to know, are you focused on other cities? Tell us about what your reach is going to be.
Sure. So, long term, we're looking at the Sun Belt. So again, from the Midwest through, we're going to go through a little bit of Texas down into Florida and up through Atlanta. So anywhere in that region is a target market for us.
And are all of your projects on your website?
Probably not at the moment, but we do have a number of projects that anyone can view and see what we have on our website.
Alex asks about the quality. You mentioned higher quality, affordable homes. So, what do you do specifically to keep the quality above the competition?
Sure. That's a great question. Thank you for that. And really, it's about level of finishes, right? So we could be some of the easy things could be you may see a laminate countertop in what would be a truly affordable home, and we can use quartz or granite. You may see a lower end window in a truly affordable home, and we could have a Pella window or something like that. And then also some of the top out finishes. So just your windows, your faucets, all of that, your flooring, all of that, we're able, just because of our vertical integration and our size, we're able to upgrade all of those items. We also, and one thing I didn't talk about, and I can use this example, but just another example of some of the sustainable and upgradable materials that we use. We build a number of our communities with standard insulated panels, which is, basically a pre-insulated solid panel. And that, from a sustainability standpoint, lowers your long-term energy consumption by 30%. So again, when we look at making an affordable home, not just something that you can get into at an affordable price, it's going to be affordable for the life of your home.
And Nikolai wants to know, do you finance as well? Or are you working with traditional construction loans with release of funds on milestones?
Yep. Thank you for that. We do not currently finance, so we are working with just third-party partners on the financing.
And I'm going to try to consolidate a few questions together. Amari asks, so are you land developers and builders? Can you explain that? You're not the builder exactly, are you?
We do both. So again, having that in-house, we have the ability to take a project, and when we're looking at what we're adding and the things that I've mentioned, oftentimes it is easier for us to do all of that development so that it's cohesive. We can come in and do what in our industry is considered an infill lot, which would be, one lot that someone else has developed, but we're not able sometimes to do all of the features that we would really like. So we certainly do a fair amount of that, what would be considered infill, but if we had to pick our favorite, it would be a full development so we could create a cohesive plan.
And do you do custom build?
We do custom build as well. Yeah. Through our acquisition, many of our partners have been and continue to be custom home builders, and we will add the build to rent and affordable as an additional revenue stream. So we have been and will continue to be custom home builders as well as a product line.
And Osvaldo wants to know, what's your average cost per foot to build, excluding land cost?
We will see in the affordable space, we're going to be around 125 per foot. So give or take. Again, we could be a little bit lower than that sometimes, but that's a good target for us, 125.
And Aaron asks, did you go public via traditional reverse merger? And if so, did you inherit all of ATWT's assets and liabilities? Just talk a little bit about what that transaction looked like.
Sure. We did go public through a reverse merger, but there was not an inheritance of those.
And Alfredo wants to know what your balance sheet looks like as far as land assets. Are you banking any land? How are you sourcing your land?
We're currently sourcing project by project. So we have a number of projects lined up in the queue. We're banking a little bit of land, but certainly not as much as we would like to in the future. So that's a focus for future growth.
And what about AI? Are you using it currently, or do you plan to?
We are looking at that in a number of different areas. One of our strongest areas that we are using AI for is our bidding and estimating currently. So we have some AI products that we are using that can take some of our current, and this fits mainly in our renovation and commercial products. There's a lot of AI estimators that we're able to use to create some of those bids and renovation things.
And talk a little bit about the markets you see Birch moving into. Is it more commercial, affordable, luxury?
Yep. So we, like I mentioned, we've been traditionally came out of the luxury market where we see our growth plans, and the largest increase for us is moving into that affordable space. We, again, looking at those market trends, demographic trends, we are going to be largely in the affordable space and the commercial space.
And the last question, feel free to sum up your presentation with this and elaborate. Just talk a little bit about what distinguishes Birch Co's practices and technology from other home builders in your competition space.
Sure, thank you. And that's a good closing question as well. So thank you. We, like I said, we have a different focus than our competition in this space overall. So as I mentioned, our competition can focus on really that end price, and everything is driven to keeping that price as low as possible. Our focus as a company is creating solid homes that are quality, that are innovative, that everyone wants to live in, and could be those forever homes for our customers. So that's really what sets us apart. And when we look at things like technology innovation, when we look at AI, when we look at our vertical integration, when we look at our growth, all of our focus is creating, again, the best product that we can give that's above what some of the competition is offering, that people will just stay in for a very long time. So all of our focus, again, is just putting our customers into homes that are thoughtfully designed, that are well built, that are going to be quality and sustainable for a very long time for everyone that purchases one of these homes.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much. This was very enlightening. We appreciate your time with us on the conference today.
Thank you so much. We appreciate everyone's time.
All right. Everyone stay with us. We'll be right back.